Uncle. 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 Yenelele. 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 Yeah, yeah. Kenzo. Yeah, yeah. Rekanzene. Nenzena mo mama. Mula mo wajisera. Atomo ziki zuri sana. Rekanzene. Nenzena mo mama. Mula mo wajisera. Atomo ziki zuri sana. Sicharosi, 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 dibosi, sicharosi. Dance, dance, clap for me. Everybody clap for me. Aye, clap for me. Africa, clap for me. Aye.
Jumbo, welcome back to the Returnee series. But on today's episode, we're going to interview somebody who is actually doing business in Africa and is from America. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Today we have the one and only. Okay, I don't want to introduce you. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm an African American that's been living in Europe for the last going on 5 years. But now I'm in Kampala, Uganda, because coronavirus got me trapped over here. So glad to be here on your show.
All right, you are welcome. So, how is Uganda?
Well, I mean, it's nice. I mean, in the current state, it's limited because we're on curfew, just like you are in Kenya. But you try to make the best out of it. Obviously, there's no city like this in the world that I've been to when there is no restrictions. But despite it, we're able to still grow, and I've never done better for myself in my life since I've been here. So this is the best I'm ever doing in every aspect.
All right. So, how long have you been in Uganda?
Well, I got here on January the 30th, and I came to start building King Uganda Studios. But and I was on my way back to Poland, but then COVID hit, and then you couldn't leave the country, and so it was more cases in Poland at that time than it was here. So I decided to stay here, and then obviously in my professional school that I'm involved with, they suspended classes and things like that. So I was kind of in the limbo.
Is this your first time in Uganda?
It's my 8th time in Uganda, 11 different times coming to Africa in the last 3 years.
Wow, 8 times. When was the first time you visited Uganda?
The first time I came to Uganda was July 2017.
Okay, and how was it? Okay, was it the first African country that you visited?
Very first African country. For me as an African American, you hear things about Africa, and it just so happened that I was in school and still am in school in Poland, and I was thinking like one of my life's dreams was to at least take one trip to Africa. At that time, I wasn't looking at repatriating or doing anything here. I just wanted to say, I came to Africa because as an African American, everybody knows our story. We don't necessarily know where we're from or anything like that, but I was a history buff of post-colonial African history. The Idi Amin's, the Milton Obotes, and the Thomas Sankaras of the world. So that was interesting to me. But to let me credit a person, it was Dynasty Amir that sparked my wanting to come even further, because we're both from the same city. We both actually went to the same high school in different years. He's just a year older than me. So I knew who Dynasty Amir was because he was one of the best athletes to ever come out of our city. And to see his transformation to where he was pushing Africa, doing the things he was doing, he really motivated me to take the next step. I was talking a lot about it and about, some of the negative issues that African Americans have with Africans. But he pushed me, a lot. It's more subtle than, direct. But his content really, really pushed me to want to take the next step. And and come to Africa. And for that, I definitely applaud him for that. I will never be able to thank him enough for how he changed my life.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Shout out to Dinah Tamir.
Yeah.
So did you visit any other African country apart from Uganda?
Yes, I met you in Kenya before you were a famous YouTuber. I believe I met you, Elvis Derry. That was the second time that I saw Woden Maya. I met Miss Trudy. That was a fun. Your sister. I've been to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I've been to Addis Ababa. I've been to Johannesburg. Johannesburg is probably my favorite city in the world. So I've been to Johannesburg like 3 or 4 times. I can
I thought
kind of
you'd
get
say
around.
Nairobi. I thought you'd say Nairobi is your very favorite city.
Nairobi is Nairobi is very, 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 very busy. So I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Nairobi. I've been there twice, but I prefer, from what I like, Johannesburg because it reminds me of America a lot. And then Kampala, and that's my baby. So, but I'm gonna give Nairobi another chance.
All right. Why did you decide to? I see your focus has mostly been in East Africa. Why not West Africa? Because I see a lot of Africa diaspora go to the West Africa.
Okay, so there are some personal reasons. I don't want to share those right now, but I would say one of the things is that shout out to Ghana. Ghana's done a really good job in bringing back the African American diaspora.
Sure.
Places like Liberia. But the thing about it is that I thought that it was a lot of African American infrastructure there. And so I wanted to be able to spread our diaspora because we're only 48 million or 40 plus million people in the world. So we already had a lot of African Americans in Ghana. And so I felt that for my own personal growth and for the growth of other people, that, let's go somewhere that we are not necessarily at and to give African Americans other opportunities. Also, I thought that, some of the things that I heard that was going on in the African American expat community in Ghana, I heard some good things. And then I heard some things that was, having some issues with certain people. So I don't know if that's true, but that kind of like, well, let me, go somewhere else a little bit different. But Ghana is doing really well. A lot of African Americans are really doing well there. So, but I want it to be somewhere different than that.
So, what do you love most about Uganda?
Where do I start? Uganda is a place that's very welcoming. So when I first came, people were really nice. The weather is always complimentary. But the thing about Uganda is that you have a lot of space to create. And that was the thing that I liked. It gives somebody like myself who is a creative, somewhat of a person that's a builder. It's a lot of freedom as a creator. In Kenya, it's a lot of strict rules. Rwanda, a lot of strict rules, a lot of monitoring of the police. In Uganda is a lot more lax. You can even bring as much money into the country as you want. You can take out as much money as you want. So Uganda was has a really good chill vibe, which represents the people's and attitude. And so a place like that, where you had a lot more freedom to create and do different things, that's why I wanted to do, and because it was easier for me to kind of mold my creative process in social media content creation. So I decided to do it here.
Oh, so wait. That time when we met in Kenya, had you been to Uganda before? Because we met in Kenya, the next day you left to Uganda. Was that the first time you went to Uganda, or you had been there before?
I was making my 4th time going when I met you. Because remember, you already knew about the Kinganda YouTube channel before I met you because you had seen Nabzara, and you didn't know that it was my idea. So I'd already been to Uganda many times before that. And I was just going back.
Oh, okay. And how did you start your business? How did you start your business in Uganda?
So it's twofold. So the first part of the business, you could say, was the O'Shea Duke Jackson YouTube channel, which was more primarily targeted at African American men. The second part of the new concept of the new brand was to connect the African American diaspora to African Americans, um, using Uganda as a local base. That was the second phase of it, and obviously we're still working on that. But I wanted to be able to do that. So what happened was I was already in the business, but coming to the continent helped me expand the business. So it just grew. It grew more than it ever has before. So Uganda gave me the opportunity to use what I'm doing, um, and then basically create a service industry, if you want to say. Whereas, African Americans wanted to have some information that's out there. A lot of times the African Union won't provide that information, or the tourism boards won't be able to connect to the diaspora. So it gave me the opportunity to say, you know what, as an African American, let's provide this information out to the diaspora that the governments probably wouldn't do because they don't know the value of the diaspora, or they're not woke to do it. So that was the opportunity for me to do that, and it's paid off very, very well.
Okay, tell us about Kenganda.
Kenganda in its initial onset was um, showing what was going on in Kenya and Uganda. We still haven't got to the Kenya version yet. That was the first initial concept to show, restaurants, um, certain investment opportunities, real estate opportunities, to an African American audience, or just whoever who wanted to watch, and then connecting also the Kenyan and the Ugandan diaspora that's abroad to what's the opportunities were back at home. So that's the initial onset. But then the content strategy, as we have evolved, has changed to be more of, how African Americans can survive here. And I think that's because I've been stuck here for 7 months. So now I have more experience to be able to get back to diaspora, and also showing Uganda and Kenya in a positive light. Like one of the things I don't like is when people come here and show the poor parts of Africa, and show people living in slums, and show people living poor. And the reality is that happens everywhere. You have a lot of talented people that are here, right? And it was to change the mindset that, Africans are dumb, or black people are dumb, or black people are lazy, when that's not true. You have some of the smartest and brightest minds here. And so we wanted to show the diaspora that, number one, no, there are very talented people in Africa, just like anywhere else. And you have an opportunity to partner with Africa. You don't have to feel sorry for Africa. You don't have to think that Africa's poor. No, you need to partner with Africa as the diaspora to make it better for yourself, to make it better for the continent, and to make it better for all parties involved. Let's partner with the continent and stop complaining, and let's make the continent better, and make the diaspora better wherever they're at.
Okay, and do you need a visa before arrival, or you got the visa on arrival?
So the situation when you come here is I always get the 90-day visa. You can get it for Uganda, or you can get it for the Rwanda, Kenya. Tanzania is not included in Uganda. You can pay $100 for that if you want to travel within the East African network. So I always do the 90-day one. I'm working on getting the business visa soon, but for right now I've been using, because I'm not permanently located here, so I've been using the 90-day one.
Oh, okay. So how much does the business visa cost, if you know the cost?
I believe the business visa, if you are an investor, it's $100,000. So if you have $100,000, yeah.
Oh, $100,000, and then it allows you to stay for how long?
Well, I think that you need to be able to show that you have $100,000 in the bank account. I think it's like a 3-year visa. Don't quote me on that. But there's certain ways to get around that.
I get it. So it's not like you paying $100,000 for
No,
it, but you have to show that you have that amount of money in your bank account.
Or that you have that investment in the country. Yeah.
In the country. Oh, okay. And are there any immunizations that are needed, yellow fever shots or anything?
Yellow fever. At least for me. I got my yellow fever in 2017.
Oh, okay. And would you try to maybe seek citizenship at any point?
I almost feel like I'm a citizen now, but of course, I would say that any African American or person that is looking to partner with Africa, I'm not saying that Africa owes everybody anything because I know that sometimes we can have a mindset that we should just get it. But for those people who are showing that they're here, they want to be here, I think it's a beautiful thing for people that's really passionate about Africa. And if you can prove to the country that you can do things, you can prove to the country that you can make it better. You're a person that's going to contribute to the positive community of whatever country you're going to be in. I don't see what the problem is. I would definitely take Ugandan citizenship because it allows you to do so many different things. American citizenship is really good, but to be able to travel in certain African countries where you might not need to get a visa, because certain African countries, a lot of African countries, Americans have to get visas to go to. But maybe if you're from Uganda, Kenya, you might be able to get in a lot of different places in Africa that you don't need it.
All right. How was the community reception in Uganda, and how is it so far? Do people look at you like, oh, you are a foreigner or something like that? Or do you just feel like you're part of it?
Well, I mean, the one thing is, I'm dark skinned. I have very, I have African features, right? So for most people, they're not going to be able to recognize unless when I start talking. That's when people know that hey, this guy's not from here. Nobody is necessarily rude, or I've never really had that problem. Maybe I might have bumped into a guy at a restaurant that was talking trash one day, but that was just somebody that was just. But most people are very nice, and it's just like anywhere else. If you're a person and you show that you have value, and I think that's a big part for a lot of African Americans. A lot of African Americans feel that coming to Africa, they should just get citizenship and all of this stuff, and I can understand that point. But it's just that if you show the people that you have value, because remember, you're starting over all over again when you come into this community. Nobody knows you. Nobody cares that you're from America. There's plenty of people come here all the time from all parts of the world. Africa is a big tourist destination. Just because you're a Black American, that doesn't mean anything, right? There's a lot of people that have a lot of money that's doing very well, that has more, clout than you do. And it's just, getting out there doing the work. And I'll talk about that in the interview about how, you can prove your value while you're here.
Oh, okay. I hope we listen to that. We'll get to hear how African Americans can actually get the value there. And what is your favorite food so far?
So matoki is pretty interesting. I know chapatis. So I tried that, but the plantain, I know that's a African dish all through the continent. So I like that. Yeah, so I would say those things. Ugali, I haven't really done the ugali thing as much, but the matoki, I like that. That's prepared almost like twice a week here, so I'm definitely a matoki fan.
Have you ever thought about changing your mind about this, the business, pursuing the business at any point, or just like, I'm done, I need to go back?
Sure. I spent $50,000, at least lost it. I mean, because we talk offline. It's only now that we're seeing like, oh, well, you're doing very well now, like much better than I ever have. But it comes to training a staff, it comes to picking the talent, it comes to sticking with I have a great manager in Jonita. I have awesome editors. Kim the Comic. We got Quasi. We have Satati, who I got from Dr. Moonby's channel in the Roby. Peter, I got through Dr. Moonby's channel. So once they had stopped working with her, and then they actually at some time later came on and joined us and helped us out here and there. When that guy actually moved here, so it was just getting the right pieces to the puzzle to make everything work. And when you first start off in the continent as an African American, you're not going to have all the pieces up front. You're going to have an idea. You're going to have what you think, but all the pieces you don't have yet. But the pieces are here. And once you get it rolling, it's you got it rolling. You have something very special.
Yeah, I told you to just keep doing it. It was going to work
Yeah,
out
you
eventually. I
told me.
remember you were like, what do you think? I told you
Yeah,
to keep doing it.
I know. You told me. He was like, it's really good. I was like, nah, man, because it was hard and it was expensive. There was a time I was losing $2,500 every month.
Yeah, you told
This shit
me.
was
I remember that time. So I'm so glad at least there is hope. It's not losing. I think in business it is
yeah,
the
yeah,
capital that
business.
you have to put before a business starts taking off. So I'm so glad at least your business is progressing
Oh
very
yeah,
well right now. So, and
oh yeah.
what is one shocking thing or surprise that you came to learn, oh, that you didn't expect about Uganda, or maybe something that is very different from African Americans?
The one thing I noticed that Africans and African Americans have is more of a like people people live and work together in a larger uh, community. Like African Americans, we're more or less we have smaller families, right? So it's hard for us to be like 8 or 9 people in a family that actually do stuff a lot. But you see that here, it's not as much of a problem. It's more of there's a lot more helping of each other, and I would say in certain aspects here, where people try to help each other more in a larger family setting. Us, you might have your mom, dad, or your little brother, and that be it. You're not gonna see a whole bunch of us, like unless once a year family reunion. But you do see that in Africa. You have big families trying to achieve certain things. Distant cousins, relatives, and they're all working. Trying to maximize the business, or to gain resources or to gain stuff. So that element, I've learned that because you don't really see a lot of black people do that in America. You see people that will collaborate, but here it's a necessity. So because here you have people that are working daily to just get food for the day, and they depend on the teamwork to get it accomplished. And I've noticed that during coronavirus, that's something that we've learned to do as a team here, where sometimes we will all be like 7 or 8 people spending the night in a 2 bedroom apartment to get it done. And I just don't see many of us in African American culture that could do that, because we like our space. But here, that's something that I've learned to operate more in a greater space. Um, so that's something that was shocking to me.
Oh, okay. So basically, community work. Yeah, that's awesome. So, what contribution can African Americans make in Uganda?
Well, the number one thing, I made a video about this on the Kingana channel, is that the African Americans have a big opportunity in the service industry, and a lot of African Americans, they hear about China, they hear about manufacturing, and well, we can't compete with the Chinese in manufacturing, but the most money is made in the service industry. Look at Walmart. Not Walmart, but Amazon. Amazon doesn't sell necessarily products itself per se. They don't create products. But Amazon makes the situation where you can connect to a seller and get products delivered. And they do this through the service industry, providing services to people. And we live in one of in the best service industry destination in the world, which is the United States. And some of brothers live in the United States of America. So we know a lot about banking, which banking is not as popular in Africa, but let's say it's mobile money. We're very good at the hospitality industries. We're good at a lot of different industries, entertainment, and we know how to train in these industries. We know how to develop industries or bring certain service industries that are not here and develop it and blossom it, and help Africa turn more from an agricultural based economy to more of a service industry sector. For an example, I was listening to one sister who was trying to do SEO optimization in Ghana, and it's not there yet. But we can bring things that are not in the continent that's already in America and make it our own industry because it's not here yet. And that's the biggest opportunity that we have. It may take a little bit longer, and I have some tips how we can get involved in that. But that's our biggest contribution. It's the service industry, right? We know how it works, and we can improve it, and then we could help Africa and help ourselves move from the agricultural center to more of a service-based economy, and I think that's everybody would appreciate that.
Are there African Americans in Uganda? Have you met some African Americans in Uganda?
Kingo Batunda.
Oh,
So I
only
know Kingo, but well, I mean, I've met African Americans in passing before. I've maybe met less than 3 or 4 here, ever.
okay. Would you advise African Americans to visit Uganda? If so, why?
Yeah, I would have advised that because well, let's just say if you're a guy, obviously the women are very, very attractive. That's definitely, I know you brothers out there. But the thing about it is that you get the Ugandan African experience for me is much different than in Kenya, than in South Africa. It's more I would say it's more genuine, more authentic because Ugandan is kind of very more cultural than I see. So if you wanted to experience more authentic African experience, not to say that Kenya isn't, but Uganda is very Kenya is a lot more advanced in many ways. So Kenya's kind of adopted many things. But if you want to see a lot more stuff that's still going on, maybe as it was like 40 years ago, and you might see that in Uganda. You see a lot more traditional things. A lot more people are much more conservative than Kenya, I would think. So that would be good. And then you also have opportunities too. You have opportunities to do things that's growing. You have opportunity to grow with Uganda. In fact, a lot of Kenyans will move to Uganda. A lot of Kenyan banks are here, right? A lot of Kenyan businesses operate from Uganda because they're growing with the market. So I think that if you're a person that wants to repatriate and you want to live here, also it's cheaper to live here. And it's just a lot of things you can do in Uganda. I don't think you can do anywhere else.
Oh, all right. Was it anything that you expected when you first got to Uganda? Was it like, did it fit the idea? Maybe you had, okay, Uganda is like this. Was it anything that you expected?
I think it was more than what I expected. I had watched YouTube videos because I had made up my mind that Uganda was going to be the first place that I went. Because Idi Amin, I was very fascinated with him and his story, so I wanted to see what was all about. But it was actually more than what I expected. Because you don't always have what you think, and when you see it, me, I'm a very enterprising person, so I was seeing a lot of opportunities. I saw a lot of different things, a lot of things I liked. I saw a lot of potential. I saw a lot of talent too from people that I met that was kind of being wasted. So I said, oh man, this is definitely the place I need to be.
All right. Lastly, any advice that you have for African Americans who want to maybe move or visit Uganda or maybe even start a business in Uganda?
Right. I think the number one thing is if you're a person coming from America or Britain or any place like that, the best bet is to expand on what you're already doing. So if you're a person that does SEO optimization, you're a person that does social media content creation, then that's something that you're already comfortable with. You should probably try to stick with that. There's some people that want to get involved in agricultural, but you don't know anything about agriculture. And a lot of times that could be too much of a risk if you don't know the business. It takes a long time to know how that business works. For me, I was already in one business. I wanted to just expand in that business. So if you can't do that, then if your business requires something that you need clients, you have something that's very sales driven. You want to work with businesses or corporations. Then my suggestion is, as you're coming here, number one, connect to co-working spaces to get involved in the business community. Nairobi, Kenya, for example, has tons of co-working spaces. You can meet the business community, you can meet the international community, you can meet the local community. You can do that for less than $5 a day, and you can keep in contact with those people through Zoom conferences. You can do that. So the first thing I would think about is connecting to the co-working space market when you're there, and also the biggest part is interning for free. All right, a lot of us don't do that. When I was we were working with the African Diaspora channel, just getting knowledge and changing the content strategy around. At first we started doing it just to be doing it, right? We were trying to get knowledge, and that helped us. And shout out to the African Diaspora channel because they gave us opportunity to expand on the concept that we had, and it made it better. And that's where we are today because we have that knowledge. A lot of African Americans, when you want to come here, let's say you're successful in one business, it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful in this business in Africa. It's a different market. It's a different economy. You're coming to a much smaller market. When you're in the USA, money grows on trees, literally. It doesn't grow on trees here. So if you have a product that you have to sell, then you're going to have to leverage it. Well, let me try to do things for free. Let me try to intern with the government. Let me convince the kingmakers of the society that we have value. And, you've been working really hard in America proving your value. But once you decide you want to come to Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, you have to basically restart that process again. And if you have a problem with that, you might want to consider it. You do have to start over again. So you need to impress people. People are not going to know about your resume that you worked at IBM or that you worked at Apple or that you worked as a security analyst. That industry that you're in now might not be here. So you're going to have to prove your value. Why should people spend money on the product? And a lot of times you might do it for free just so somebody can say, this guy right here, I use this person just for my business, and then it worked. Because Africa is not about what you know, more so who you know. And it could take you a long way. And a lot of African Americans may have a problem with that because you think because what you know, that's going to make you successful. And then you need to gauge the market. So you get one connection. You may be working very, very hard over a period of years to have those connections set when you want to repatriate to the continent. So if you come to the continent on your first trip, you want to go to the co-working space, you want to get connections, and don't just go and check out the zoo in Kenya. Don't just go and check out the girls or whatever. Go and check out the business scene, spend a day at co-working spaces, and keep in contact with those people. And when you go home, leverage those people. Keep in contact with them on Zoom. Do the conferences, participate. Ask the co-working spaces, can you join? And spend $100 a month, even at overseas, and maybe you can be a part of a Zoom co-working space so that you can be connected and know what's going on. And as you're working, building what you're doing in America, continue to work to build your network. So when you come back to Africa, you have momentum. Africa is about momentum. A lot of African Americans don't know that. Momentum is so big on the continent, and you need to give yourself as much momentum as you can. You also want to have all the things that you need for the business that you have. For example, we're in social media content creation. We got to have the AMD 3900X processor. We need the 64 GB of RAM. We need a lot of different things, right? And then sometimes it's hard to get things shipped here. So in order for you to maximize your talent, make sure you have all the stuff that you can have at your disposal, because there's not a Best Buy in Nairobi. There's not Amazon deliveries in Nairobi or in Uganda. It may take you 4 weeks to get something or 3 weeks to get something. And you need to know who the right shipping company is. Is the shipping company charging on weight per pound, or is it how to avoid the taxes, right? All these things you need to know, and you need to have a lot of information before you go, and be willing to say that you're going to commit to this for life. A lot of people, TIGRESS, want to talk about coming to Africa, and they want to say, well, I want to invest in Africa. I want to give somebody $10,000 and reap 50. It's not the stock market. Africa, you need to be on the ground. All right? TIGRESS knows me personally. I'm always here 4 or 5 times a year. My commitment is on the ground. And if you can't do that, don't come. But if you decide that you want to do that, have it in your mind. This is something I'm always going to do, and I'm always going to try. And you don't have to make all your decisions at the first time. Slowly build the people you need. Slowly build up the approval of you. This is a project you're building, right? This is like a house you're building. You need the network. You need the staff. You need the equipment. You're not going to get all of it at one time, right? But you want to make sure that you like it, because remember, you're going to be spending part of your time here if you want to do it seriously. Africa is not, it's a very face-to-face continent. It's not an email continent, or no, this is a very face-to-face. People like to see you, what you're doing face-to-face. So make sure that you're committed to the continent, that you want to do things here, leverage the business community. Don't feel sorry for Africa. I'm going to say that. So you don't need to feel sorry for the continent. People here have more money than you. Some people are very, very rich, successful. Look to partner with the continent, and things will work out fine.
Awesome. That's really brilliant. Where can someone get all this information when you talk about they need to network with the business hubs, and where can they get the information to this?
Well, on my Kinganda YouTube channel, I have a playlist called Dear Black American, in which I give information on how to ship. I'm giving information on different things. So I'm developing that playlist now. And so as I get information, we're going to be partnering with the local business community. We're going to be partnering with the international community to give African Americans in the Black diaspora at large all the information that they need to be successful. We're going to be doing a video about interning, why you should intern with African businesses for free to establish your name as a part of your African plan, right? A lot of times, as African Americans, we don't understand that in a new market, there are no jobs here. So you need to leverage yourself for the government, leverage yourself with the businesses, leverage yourself with the brands, improve your worth and your value so that you can get into the market and expand the market, right? Because we're partnering with the continent. We want to help their market grow. So that playlist is on my Kinganda YouTube channel. I'm probably gonna make it about 100 or 200 videos. We'll be partnering with different people, successful Africans on the continent, successful African Americans outside of the continent that know about the business here, how to do things, and how to basically get into business, how to get into the market. So that's on my Kinganda YouTube channel. You can find that out. Hopefully, TIGRESS will put the link on there and subscribe at the bell, and we'll be glad to have you.
Obvious. I will do that. So this I said last question, but now this is going to be the very, very last question. For someone who wants to visit maybe for the first time, to just maybe spend some few weeks there to do the survey, to check the business market and all that, how much would they need? Like how much does it cost?
Okay. So the apartment that you see me staying in right now, it's called Leonia's Apartments. It's in Bukoto. If you were to stay here, you've been here before.
Yeah.
If you were to stay here for a month, it's $1,000. But it's right by the city. They have fiber internet. All the bills are included. So, but most places that are American standard of living, you'll pay between $30 to $50 a night. So, if you do 3 weeks, I probably just do the month. That's $1,000. I would say if you're a person that wants to eat in a lot, maybe for that month, you might go through 200, 250 in groceries. You can do it much cheaper than this, but you can live in certain parts. Shout out to Chawatale. I stayed in Chawatale, which is a suburb. I'll spend about $25 a night. Very nice place, 3-bedroom. So budget between $25 to $50 a night. And then I would say if you're transporting, some of you might be too scared to get on the boaters. I would definitely recommend that because it's just quick to get to one place. If you do Uber, you'll be spending a lot of time in traffic. If you go to Kenya or Uganda, you're going to be spending a lot of time in traffic. So if you can get on the motorcycles, it's better. It's a little bit more dangerous, right? But you can spend anywhere from on the boat is $3 to $5 a day, and if you're doing Uber every day, you're spending somewhere between $5 to $15 a day. So I use mostly the boaters now since they're back. So if you're going to tourist attractions, the zoo, the Western, that could be how much you ever want to be. It could be very expensive. It could be very cheap. But I would say if you're going to be here for 2 or 3 weeks, you probably want to bring about $3,000, just on the safe side.
All right. Thank you so much, O'Shea. I really appreciate your time and contribution. You're doing some amazing work in Uganda, and I hope you'll pass by Kenya before you leave.
Aha! Okay, well, let's see if Uhuru let me in.
He will. We're opening our borders soon. So
tomorrow, right? Okay.
Tomorrow is first. Yeah. So we're going to open the borders. So don't worry, you'll get into the country.
All right. Thanks again, everybody, and hope you guys enjoyed the interview.
How can someone contact you?
You can contact me. I have an email. It's planetoshay@gmail.com. I do have my own YouTube channel, but when it comes to Africa, I don't really discuss a lot of that on that particular channel. That's more African American content or entertainment news. But if you want to really get my perspective on Africa, visit my Kinganda YouTube channel. That's where I'm trying to develop more information. Because I noticed there's not a whole lot of African American information from East African countries. You find a lot of it in Ghana, and then you find a lot of it from Sierra Leone or Liberia. But when you come to Uganda, there's not a lot of outside of Kenya. Amara, obviously he passed. I know you had interviewed him, but there's not a lot of African Americans in the East African complex that's talking about how to get around. So we're one of the few that do that in this region. So if you're looking for that information, subscribe. We have a very talented staff. We're just growing with the business, and we're keeping the foot on the gas pedal.
All right, thank you so much. I'll definitely put a link to your channel to Kenganda especially. I'll put a link to Kenganda in the comment section below. All right.
You've actually done a video for us on Kenganda, a real estate review video, I believe.
Yeah, I did a video with you in Kenganda when I visited Uganda. I did a video with you. Not more than one, actually. More than one, yeah. Yeah, it was more than one video.
All right.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay. Thank you so much for watching that episode. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something. Don't forget to share it out so that you can educate a brother or a sister. Until next time, kwaheri.
Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, oh Mama Africa, with them Africa, oh Mama Africa, with them Africa, Viva Africa. I love you, Africa. To the man of Africa. Oh, man of Africa. Ghana was Zimbabwe. Mama was Zimbabwe. South Africa. Cameroon. Ghana was Guinea. Ivory Coast. Mama Cameroon. Ghana Nigeria. Abantu be Gambia.